everyone, I'm Gloria S. Crump, the Queen of Real Estate with the Coastal Leaders Realty Group. Thank you for joining this week's Teen Crumpets. And today I have Jenna Pendley. She is with Extraction Pros. And so thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
I'm excited. I know Jenna through real estate,
yes.
So she's one of my favorites. And so she has now started this company.
I have.
So give us a little history about it. This is, even though you just started the company, you've obviously been in it since you were a little child.
Yes. So almost all of my family on my dad's side is in insulation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a third generation insulator.
That's impressive.
And so I grew up in the industry. The first time I was ever insulating with my dad and my uncles was when I was 7. And I have just been insulating ever since.
I love it. I love it. That's kind of like how with my family.
Yes.
They put us to work too. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I love how they had you probably crawling into very small spaces.
They did. They did. They had they sent me into everything. The first thing I ever insulated was a stage platform that they couldn't get in. They put me on some plastic, sent me under, had me do the bats, pulled me out, sent me back under, and I was 7.
Oh,
and
wow.
I've been in tight spaces ever since, and now everybody's wondering why we're doing attics and crawl spaces, and they did this to me.
Yes, they did. And I love how, don't you make him work for you sometimes too, right?
Yes. So my dad, he owns his own whole side of insulation. He's a consultant. He designs trailers for insulation companies, all this kind of stuff. But when I need help or when we're maybe short-staffed one day or whatever, we call him in, and I'm getting him back for all of that free labor.
I think that's awesome. Yep, I think it's great. Well, and that's really neat that you have that much of a background.
Yes.
With it. And I mean, that just shows you know exactly what you're doing. Obviously, your dad has taught you very well, and you've been trained from a very young age.
Yep.
So you're definitely a professional.
And not only do I have the experience, you know, if you run into something that I don't know, I have my dad, my uncle, my cousins. I have just a plethora of people that I can call and get advice from, FaceTime.
That's
and so,
awesome.
You know, when
they're literally at your fingertips.
Absolutely.
That's correct. Because I mean, it doesn't matter how long you've been in a career. There's always something new.
There's
that pops
always
up.
something new.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Well, so tell us a little bit about your company. Obviously, it involves insulation, but there's a lot more to it than what people might think when it comes to attics and crawl spaces.
Yeah, so I got into this because I saw such a need down here with insulation that needed to be removed and fixed and done properly, and not done incorrectly the first time. And we've got some fantastic insulation companies down here, but there was such a need to have insulation that's been contaminated removed. So I got into it at first with just the intention of being that person who comes in, removes the insulation, deep cleans an attic and a crawl space, and then we were going to subcontract out to other insulation companies, and now it has turned into we are a full insulation company.
That's awesome.
Other insulation companies are calling us in to help us deep clean the attics.
That's great.
And we've got a great relationship going on with some great people.
Well, that's awesome. And so not only, you know, do y'all remove the insulation, y'all remove all, you know, a lot of people think just like blown insulation or the bats, but y'all remove all types of insulation.
Correct. All types of insulation. We've got the most powerful machine on the market, so we can remove spray foam. We can remove the, obviously the blown in, the bats, and we can do it very clean. So the old way of doing removals was to basically shovel everything out, put it in bags, and carry it through the house. We have a hose that will go up into the attic and down into our trailer into a confined insulation bag.
Oh, that's
so
great.
None of that insulation is coming through the homeowner's house.
I know a lot of homeowners are relieved when they hear that.
And we come prepared with brooms, vacuums, a Swiffer. We will not leave you with a mess.
That's awesome. And y'all have a pretty quick turnaround too.
Correct, yeah. So most jobs, if we're talking a complete removal, treatment, and install, most jobs take 2 days. Some of it will take 3 days, depending on the job size. But if we're just removing, or if your insulation is not contaminated and you're just looking to lower energy bills, that's a matter of hours for us to go in and blow new insulation over your existing and create a thicker thermal shield.
Well, that's awesome, because and you were just talking about contaminated. A lot of times people think, okay, insulation, I just want to have that fixed because to lower the cost, but actually it can affect your health. too.
Yeah. So
this was something new I didn't really think about until we started talking earlier.
So 400 million people have Googled, "Is my home making me sick?" And one of
a lot.
And asthma, headaches, everything.
Yeah.
You go outside and you feel fine. You come back to your home and you're like, I'm sick again.
Yeah.
And one of the first things that pops up in that Google search is the air you breathe okay? And attics. And the air that you breathe comes from your attic. So if you have insulation that has had squirrels, rats, raccoons, bats, anything like that that's been contaminated and has not been removed, you're going to be breathing in that feces and that animal matter for the next 10, 12, 15 years.
Yeah, and I mean, I actually have, I've had bats in my attic, and they're dropping, and so I had that situation probably about 10 years ago. So I know what you're talking about, how if it's contaminated, it has to be removed, and that's really what causes people to be
And that's what we
sick.
come in and do, and we'll come in, we'll remove it, we'll clean up the attics, we'll get it back to where it needs to be, we'll put in fresh insulation, and we're also going to be very honest with you. If I walk into your attic and I say, Gloria, it doesn't need to be removed, let's just blow some new stuff over it and get you where you need to be, you're good to go, we'll do that. And we won't take jobs though, if you have a family of 5 raccoons in your house, I'm not going to blow over it because I don't want you to be sick 5 years down the road and then call me back.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, what's going on? And now also, just because insulation and where it's located, the moisture. I mean, it can be
So
mold.
we're seeing a lot of moisture up in attics, and then also down in crawl spaces is where we see it the most.
Yes.
Because people have installed insulation under the joists of homes, and just where we live, we have such a high humidity count that humidity and that moisture collects between your fiberglass bat insulation and the joist of your home. And we are seeing floors buckling, we're seeing subfloor issues, and so much of that time is because that insulation was put up there, and we're going and we're sucking it out. We are working with other contractors to get that crawl space restored. If it needs other contractors, hopefully we can catch it on time and just remove it and dry it out. And then we also will do crawl space encapsulations and moisture barriers to help with that issue.
That's great. I mean, I have a crawl space, and I'm gonna have you come out and take a look, because I do think that I have the bats under there, and I mean, you were just saying how like fiberglass is just collects moisture.
It's like a sponge. It's a fantastic insulator, but when you've got moisture, it's not gonna leave. We just did a house in Orange Beach, pristine home, very well taken care of, 2 years old, and they had a contractor come out to look at the foundation, and the guy said, foundation looks great, get that insulation out of there.
Oh, wow.
So they called us, and we went out, and after 2 years, just 2 years, the insulation on top between the joists was discolored.
From moisture.
From moisture. It was discoloring the wood underneath, and if they'd waited a couple more years, they would have had major subfloor issues.
Yes.
But we were able to save it. We got sucked out. I went in with an enzyme treatment to clean everything up because it also had some animals under there.
Oh, God.
And we got it all handled.
It's all brewing.
It was brewing.
Oh, goodness. And then, so y'all do add, vapor barriers as well.
Yeah.
So that's awesome because, that's nice to know, because a lot of people might think, oh, it's just insulation, but y'all actually even can add dehumidifiers.
Yeah,
too.
we can add dehumidifiers, we can do the encapsulations, we'll do the plastic moisture barriers, we'll do all of that.
That's awesome. And then, so someone calls you, y'all go out, y'all do free quotes?
Yeah, it's all free, and like I said again, we'll be very honest with you. If I walk up there and you've got 12 inches of insulation and everything looks great, I'll be like, hey, you might want to get your windows checked.
Oh, true.
We'll work with you and get you with who you need to be with.
Well, that's awesome. And I mean, I think that's great, and I definitely would trust you just because we've business in real estate, so I do think you're straight up, and
Oh yeah.
that's why I want you to come look at my house. And so, but yeah, so I mean, is there anything else that you'd like to add? I mean, the areas you serve. You know,
yeah,
we got to talk about that.
Yeah, so we do all of Mobile County. We'll go as far as Navarre into Florida, just because we're getting so many calls of people needing help.
Well, and too with people being along the coastline.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yep. So from all of Baldwin, all of Mobile County, we'll if the job is, if they can't get anybody else, we'll do Atmore Bruton.
Yeah.
You know, we've got the manpower and the machinery and the crews to service a bunch of areas.
That's awesome. Well, I hope you continue to grow.
Thank you.
Make your family proud. And
Thank you.
Start hiring more of them.
That's the goal. I've got the best crew around. You know, I've got 2 full-time installers who are fantastic. Everybody's background checked, so we're not going to be bringing anyone into your home that we don't know everything about.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is good to know, because I mean, people, you know, sometimes they just can't be there, and so that's lovely.
And we've got a bunch of either first responders who are working with us on their days off or retired, and that's really, you know, my friend group. That's really what I want to help. And
that's awesome.
So that's who we've got.
Well, I'm hoping we can send you some business.
That's great.
Help you continue to grow and everything. So
Perfect.
I'm excited, and I appreciate y'all watching. And we'll have your contact information at the end, and maybe you can get some pictures, and we can post in the videos to see just how good a job you do.
I will send them over.
Awesome. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day.